Winston Peters has labelled David Seymour youthful and inexperienced, dismissing the ACT leader's views on what it would take to recognise Palestine as an independent state. It comes as the Foreign Affairs Minister prepares to lay out New Zealand's position at the UN next week. Political editor Mikey Sherman reports.
Tension on the streets in Aotea Square over the weekend. And tension amongst the coalition.
The point is that a statement was made by someone who's got no authority to make it, and that's why we're putting the record straight now.
Calling out his government partner after David Seymour yesterday suggested recognising Palestine should only happen on the release of Israeli hostages.
Yeah, we're not going to recognise a state that's currently weaponising hostages, holding people for years on end in absolutely inhumane conditions. I mean,
it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because if the government is deciding if they're going to recognise Palestine, I'm assuming they need Seymour's vote. And the way he's speaking right now seems to be hinting towards, I mean, it would be strange for him to go, I don't think we should recognise Palestine. Oh, yeah, I said yes. That wouldn't make sense. So it is interesting that he's coming out and saying this when next week Winston Peters is going to reveal all. I don't know why they haven't done it, but I mean, I'm not sure what they're playing at here. I'm not sure whether this is politicking by David Seymour because he's already in election mode, or what, or whether he's going to cuck out next week and do what Daddy Luxon says. Not sure.
I guess when we talk about the hostages, like, yes, we do want all the hostages to be released, but that also includes the 11,000 Palestinians that are in Israeli detention centers. And I think people need to realize that is one of the main reasons why October the 7th happened. It's because all these Palestinian prisoners are in Israeli detention centers, and that includes lots of children as well. There are areas in Palestine that Palestinians can't go in because they're not allowed to go on that specific street. So if you're a Palestinian child and you're seen on that street, they can put you in an Israeli detention center, and no one is held accountable for that. They abuse them, they torture them, they sexually abuse them. But why isn't anyone talking about the Palestinian prisoners as well? So yes, we do want the release of all hostages, but that also includes the 11,000 Palestinians that are in Israeli detention centers. Yeah.
It's very selective framing, and I think it's very interesting. It's just evidence, really, that he's not listening to any of you, isn't it? He hasn't listened for the last few years, and he's still not listening. And this is just evidence of that. And I think it's really sad for our Deputy Prime Minister to not be listening to the leaders of this movement, the people that actually know what it's like there.
Yeah. Well, this whole government's an anti-intellectual government anyway. We know that already. We'll keep playing the story and see what else they've got to say.
would recognise that.
Well, that is not the government's position. The government's position is articulated by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That's the agreed situation. And for the second time, someone is talking out of his field.
When asked if Peters would speak to Seymour,
look, we're not dealing with in loco juventus. You know what that means in Latin?
it means youthful and inexperienced.
Well, I was asked, I think, by you what exposition is, and I think that's pretty clear.
We don't have a position on the matter individually. We have a government position. I've made that very clear. See the difference?
Asked if David Seymour was breaching cabinet collective responsibility.
Gee, it took you a long time to find that out, didn't it? Gee.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, all three of us at different times speak on behalf of the government. Other times people say, well, what do you think?
The ACT Party has plenty of thoughts. After this protest on the weekend, MP Simon Court tweeted, playing Tero dress-up on weekend, referring to the keffiyeh scarves often worn by Green MPs.
A bit of mockery for people that dress up in the uniform that is actually a terrorist uniform, I think deserves a bit of mockery, and they got it.
Mockery, it seems, is a two-way street. Mikey.
That was obviously half the story that focused on our politics. I'll go and find, whilst we're talking, a more focal point on what's happening in the Middle East. But yeah, Nadine, I don't know whether he was referencing the Green MPs and the Labor MPs playing Tero dress up. How do you respond to that? Because he's talking about you guys who were there on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call children terrorists, if you want to call teachers, nurses, doctors, then sure, 50,000 people here in Tamaki Makaurau are quote-unquote terrorists, I guess. I mean, I know, children that came to the protests. I know, teachers, union members, Politicians came to this. So are you implementing that all these people are part of a terrorist group? It's quite insulting. Naturally it is insulting, but I guess it just shows these people don't really have a lot going on up there. But yeah, if you want to call 50,000 people that are mobilizing for our government here to sanction Israel for its war crimes, when they bombed hospitals, when they bombed schools, when they bombed people's homes, when they've buried so many innocent Palestinians, then sure, 50,000 of us are quote unquote terrorists. It is quite insulting, but I mean, with all these people, we don't really expect much from them. But I mean, when we came in the masses, I think it really shocked the government here, and it showed them that we will continue to mobilize in masses. We will continue to close down these streets until we see action, because words at this point are not enough. We need action, and the most appropriate action at the moment is to sanction Israel for its horrendous war crimes.